Maybe last week you were in a group photo. You were smiling, talking the loudest, nobody excluded you, nobody treated you badly, but inside there was that same strange feeling, like you were slightly apart from everyone standing behind invisible glass. Nobody rejected you, so why do you still feel like you're on the outside? This isn't just about one photo. Maybe it happens at family dinner too. Everyone's at the table, everyone loves you, nobody says anything unkind. In fact, these might be the people who love you most, but as you look down at your plate, you're standing somewhere outside the conversation. For a second, in the middle of the laughter, you pull back, like you're watching from the other side of that glass, like you're not quite there. Maybe this is a very old feeling for you. It's been there since childhood. It's so familiar you don't even notice it anymore. It just feels like a quiet tiredness in every social setting. Today, we're going to talk about why this happens. And the answer isn't where you think it is. This isn't a friendship problem. It's not a lovability problem either. By the end of this video, something will shift. Maybe how you see the people closest to you will shift a little. More importantly, how you see this voice inside you will shift. Maybe it happens in your friend group chat too. Everyone's joking around, you're laughing along, but part of you is quietly keeping score. Who texted you how many times? Who remembered you and how well? Who hesitated for a second before inviting you? Or maybe it happens even with a friend you've known for years, someone who's always been there. Sometimes the thought creeps in, would it even matter if I weren't here? You know it doesn't make sense, but it comes anyway. People who carry this feeling usually look very social from the outside. They might be the one who starts the conversation, the one who seems to run the room. Even the funniest person in the group can carry this, because this isn't a lack of social skill. It's the opposite. It usually comes from being too attentive. These people notice things the second they walk into a room, who sat where, whose voice changed slightly, who's actually listening. That's a real skill, but sometimes it gets turned against you. Let's be clear about something. This isn't a disorder. It's actually a fairly common experience, maybe far more common than you think. The problem isn't the feeling itself. The problem is the lie the feeling tells you. This proves you really are on the outside. Most of the time, that's not true. It just feels true. And a feeling, no matter how strong, doesn't always carry accurate information. To understand this, picture something. Inside you, there's an invisible security guard on duty. This guard has one job, silently scanning every room you walk into. It's only asking one question. Am I safe here? Was I really accepted here? So where did this guard learn to do this job? Research points to something interesting. This feeling usually doesn't come from something happening right now. It comes from much further back. If, as a child, feelings weren't really asked about in your home, if nobody ever asked you, how did that make you feel today? If the table was full but feelings were never talked about, this feeling today might be part of that. The home may not have lacked anything materially. Nobody may have mistreated you, but when feelings go unnoticed, a small child learns one thing: I need to hide myself. That's when this guard starts its job, and it's been on alert ever since. It sounds the alarm at the smallest shift in tone. It sounds the alarm at a joke you didn't quite get. It sounds the alarm at a message that took too long to get a reply. There it is, you're on the outside again, it says. It's not looking at what's actually happening in the room right now. It's going by rules it learned years ago. There are a few layers to this. First layer, once this guard sees one real instance of being excluded, it doesn't file it away as a one-time thing. It turns it into a general rule. One bad moment slowly becomes, this proves people leave me out. Second layer, because this guard is always on alert, you sometimes act a little distant without realizing it, a little guarded. And here's the irony: that guardedness sometimes rubs off on the other person too. They start to find you a little distant as well, so your own prediction slowly starts creating its own reality. Third layer, and maybe the subtlest one, belonging isn't a fact. It's a feeling. So even if someone tells you outright, Of course we want you here. The guard inside you might not believe it right away because it doesn't run on evidence. It runs on habit. Fourth layer, while trying to protect you, this guard sometimes does the opposite. Staying on alert all the time is exhausting. And a tired mind often takes the easiest path. Pulling back, not sharing, never making the first move, which means you never get the chance to really be known, and the other person never gets the chance to really know you either. So while the guard is protecting you, it's also quietly making you more alone. And here's the truly unexpected part. The people who feel this the most are usually among the people who get rejected the least, because being this attentive isn't a flaw, it's a sensitivity. You notice small details, you notice tone of voice, you notice silences, because at some point noticing those things was genuinely necessary for you. Maybe staying safe depended on it. That's not necessary anymore. But the old habit is still running in the background, still scanning. Has this ever happened to you, looking at a group, everyone smiling at you and still thinking, but do they really mean it? Tell me in the comments, because this is far more common than you'd guess. And someone reading this right now is probably thinking the exact same thing. Changing this has nothing to do with a long list of tips. Just try one thing. Next time that inner guard kicks in a friend group or at a family dinner, and you notice that familiar feeling of distance, don't pull back right away. Quietly ask yourself, what would change if just this once I assumed I already belong here? Then do one small concrete thing. Instead of quietly keeping what's on your mind to yourself, say it in one sentence. Say, I'm a little tired today. Or say, I actually found that really funny. One small, honest sentence is enough. The guard isn't used to this because you've usually trained it to pull back, to observe, to stay quiet. But every time you share one small sentence, you give it fresh evidence. You're safe here, safe when you speak, safe when you stay quiet too. This won't change in one try, but over time, again and again, the guard starts learning a different reality. Look at that group photo again. Your smile wasn't fake. You being there wasn't an accident. Maybe the only thing missing was reminding that old guard inside you that you're in a different year now, that you're around different people now. If you felt on the outside today, even while watching this video, remember this: that feeling isn't telling you something that makes you not belong there. It's just telling you an old habit is still talking. Habits change slowly, but they really can change. Maybe today, just knowing this is enough of a start, because noticing is always the first step of change, the quietest one.